Okay, here we go. The early Turkish rulers ruled between dash years over Delhi. The early Turkish rulers. So the early Turkish rulers started to rule right, uh, right after the Ghurid Empire till Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori was an Afghan, but he had Qutbuddin Aibak as his slave. And after the death of Muhammad Ghori, Qutbuddin Aibak would become the king, and he would start Mamluk dynasty or the slave dynasty. So that would start in 1200, 1206, and it will go all the way till 1292. So the correct answer is 1206 and 1292. The early Turkish rulers ruled over Delhi between 1206 and 1292. This period is associated with slave dynasty, also known as Mamluk dynasty, which was the first ruling dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate was founded by Qutbuddin Aibak in 1206 after the death of Muhammad Ghori. Qutbuddin Aibak had originally been a slave commander under Muhammad Ghori, but later became the ruler of Delhi and established independent Turkish rule in India. The important rulers of the early Turkish or slave dynasty included Qutbuddin Aibak, Iltutmish, Razia Sultan, and Balban. These are the slaves of early. These are the rulers of early Turkish dynasty or slave dynasty in India. Among them, Iltutmish greatly strengthened the Delhi Sultanate and made Delhi its permanent capital. Razia Sultan became the first and the only woman's ruler Sultanate of Delhi, woman ruler of Sultanate, while Ghiyasuddin Balban strengthened royal authority and centralized administration. The slave dynasty came to an end in 1290 when Khalji dynasty came to power. Thus, the period from 1206 to 1290 represents the rule of the early Turkish rulers over Delhi. So, from 1206 to 1290, it is the rule of early Turkish rulers. Moving on, the Iron Pillar situated at Mehrauli, Delhi, is associated with which of the following Gupta rulers? The Iron Pillar situated in Mehrauli is associated with Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II. The famous iron pillar situated at Mehrauli in India is associated with Chandragupta II of the Gupta Empire. The pillar is regarded as one of the greatest achievement of the Delhi of the ancient Indian metallurgy and is internationally famous because it has remained largely free from rust for more than 1500 years. The iron pillar is approximately 7 meters high and weighs more than 6 tons. It is mainly It is made mainly of wrought iron and demonstrates the highly advanced metallurgical knowledge possessed by Indian craftsmen during the Gupta period. Scientists and historians have long studied the pillar because of its extraordinary resistance to corrosion, despite centuries of exposure to weather conditions. So it does not get corroded very easily. A Sanskrit inscription engraved on the pillar referred to a king named Chandra. Historians identify this ruler as Chandragupta II, who was known by the title of Vikramaditya. Chandragupta II was one of the greatest rulers of the Gupta Empire and ruled during the late 4th and 5th century CE. During his leadership, the Gupta Empire reached a high level of political power, economic prosperity, and cultural development. His reign is often considered part of the golden age of ancient India because of major progress in literature, science, mathematics, astronomy, art, trade, and architecture. Chandragupta II expanded Gupta Empire through military campaigns and defeated the Western Kshatraps, which strengthened Gupta control over Western India and important trade routes. His court became famous for patronage of scholars, poets, and intellectuals. Traditional accounts associate the great Sanskrit poet Kalidas with his court. The inscription on the iron pillar praises the military achievement, bravery, and devotion of King Chandra. It also indicates that pillar was originally erected as the Vishnu Dhwaj or standard dedicated to Lord Vishnu. So if they ever ask you that which god is the iron pillar at Mehrauli dedicated to, then the answer is going to be Vishnu Dhwaj, Lord Vishnu. So the iron pillar of Mehrauli is also known as Vishnu Dhwaj, or when it was erected, it was erected as Vishnu Dhwaj. So it was basically dedicated to Lord Vishnu. Historians believe that a pillar was not originally located at Mehrauli. It was probably erected near Vishnu temple elsewhere, possibly in central India, and later transported to Delhi due to medieval period. The Iron Pillar is today located near the Qutub complex in Mehrauli and remains one of the most important historical and scientific monuments of ancient India. Why was the Iron Pillar transported to Mehrauli? The exact reason why the Iron Pillar was transported to Mehrauli in Delhi is not known with complete certainty, but historians have proposed several strong theories based on inscriptions, political theory, history, and archaeological evidence. The pillar was most likely originally erected during the reign of Chandragupta II near a Vishnu temple, possibly in central India. Because the inscription on the pillar clearly shows that it was dedicated to Lord Vishnu, the inscription calls it a Vishnu Dhaj, meaning a standard or pillar dedicated to Vishnu. Most historians believe that the pillar was later transported to Delhi by Anangpal Tomar during the early medieval period, probably around 11th century. So if they ever ask you which king is considered to have displaced the iron pillar from central India to Mehrauli, then the answer is going to be Anangpal Tomar. But why would he transport it? The main reasons are likely political legitimacy and prestige. In medieval India, powerful rulers often moved ancient monuments, pillars, idols, or symbols from the older famous kingdoms to their own capital in order to show power, connect themselves with glorious ancient rulers, increase royal prestige, and gain religious legitimacy. So this is the first reason that he would displace the iron pillar of Mehrauli from central India to Mehrauli. The first is to gain political legitimacy and prestige. In medieval India, this was very common for the rulers to move ancient monuments or pillars, from one place to another in order to showcase that, see, I am such a powerful ruler that I can do it. And they also used to connect themselves with glory and the ancient rulers. This is how they would, because they would show that they have the authority. They are the chosen one to move this particular monument from one place to another. So this would legitimize their authority, and this would help them connect themselves with glorious ancient rulers. Also, it increased their royal prestige and it helped them gain royal legitimacy. The Gupta Empire was remembered as one of the greatest empire in Indian history. So possessing a Gupta monument like the Iron Pillar would strengthen the prestige of the ruler controlling Delhi. Another reason may have been religious importance. Since the pillar was associated with Lord Vishnu worship, transporting it an important temple complex near an important temple complex in Delhi would increase the religious importance of the region. So this also helped in increasing the religious importance of the capital, so that the people would pay uh, more value to the capital. It increased the religious importance. Some historians also believe that the pillar may have been shifted because Delhi was becoming an increasingly important political center in the North India and rulers wanted famous symbols of imperial authority here. So that people, instead of traveling to those cities where these important monuments are, people would just stay in Delhi and they would travel to these monuments, and that will increase Delhi was already becoming an important economic location, and this would also help Delhi to become important religious location. So it will serve as both things. Later, after the establishment of Delhi Sultanate, the pillar remained standing in Mehrauli near the Quwwat ul Islam Mosque and the Qutub Minar, where it still stands today. So even today, where does it stand? It stands near Qutub Minar or the Quwwat ul Islam Mosque. This is the Mehrauli pillar in Delhi. Okay, next. Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer, discovered the sea route to India in obviously 1498. Very easy question. Vasco da Gama discovered the sea route to India in 1498 and became the first European to reach India directly by sea from Europe. His voyage is considered one of the most important events in world history because it established a direct maritime contact between Europe and India and opened the way for European commercial expansion and colonial influence in Asia. During the 15th century, European countries were searching for direct trade routes to India because India was famous for spices, silk, cotton, textile, precious stones, and other luxury goods. Before the discovery of the sea route, trade between Europe and India mainly passed through Arab and Venetian middlemen who controlled overland trade routes. As a result, Asian goods became extremely expensive in the Europe. Portugal took the lead in maritime exploration and sponsored voyages to discover a distinct route to India. Vasco da Gama sailed from Portugal in 1497 with a fleet of ships. He traveled around the Cape of Good Hope, located at the southern tip of Africa, and then moved along the eastern coast of Africa before crossing the Indian Ocean with the help of monsoon winds and the local navigators. In May 1498, Vasco da Gama finally reached Calicut on the Malabar coast of India. Calicut was an important center of spice trade and was ruled by Zamorin. Although Vasco da Gama's first trading mission faced difficulties, his successful arrival proved that Europe and India could be directly connected through sea routes. The discovery of the sea route to India transformed global trade and world politics. It allowed Portugal to established direct trade with India and later led to creation of Portuguese colonies and trading centers at places such as Goa, Cochin, Daman and Diu. The voyage also opened the way for other European powers such as Dutch, English and French to enter India. Vasco da Gama's journey marked the beginning of European maritime expansion into Asia and eventually contributed to the rise of colonialism in the Indian subcontinent. The other import options are incorrect because 1488 is associated with Bartholomew Diaz. So Bartholomew Diaz traveled all the way till Cape of Good Hope in 1488, but he was not able to reach India. Reaching Cape of Good Hope while 1508 and 1518 are not related to Vasco da Gama's discovery of sea route to India. So the correct answer is 1498. 1498. Also remember, Vasco da Gama is the first European to find sea route to India. First European to find sea route to India. Before him, many were trying. Before him, Columbus was trying, and Bartholomew Diaz was trying, and many other were trying, but nobody was able to do it. He was the first person to do it. So it is very, very important, and it becomes very, very special. Next question, we'll try. Minaj-e-Siraj was a chronicler during the rule of Minaj-e-Siraj was chronicler during the rule of Sultan Iltutmish. So he was a this was he Minaj-e-Siraj was an important chronicler during the rule of Sultan Iltutmish of Delhi Sultanate. Minaj-e-Siraj was a Persian historian who came to India during the early period of Turkish rule and became associated with the court of Iltutmish. He became associated directly with the court of Iltutmish. He is best known for writing famous historical work Tabbat-i Nasri. Tabbat-i Nasri. Let me see if my voice is clear. Yeah, I think the voice is clear. Hmm? Let me know whether the voice is clear or not, okay? Minhaj-e-Siraj was a Persian historian who came to India during the early period of Turkish rule and became associated with the court of Iltutmish. So at that point of time, Iltutmish was ruling. He is best known for writing the famous work known as Tabakat-i-Nasiri, which is often which is one of the most important sources of history of the early Delhi Sultanate. The book provides detailed information about Turkish concept of conquest of India, slave dynasty rulers, administration of Delhi Sultanate, political events, Mongol invasion, court life. Minhaj-e-Siraj greatly praised Iltutmish and considered him one of the strongest and most capable ruler of the early Sultanate period. Iltutmish himself played a major role in consolidating Turkish rule in India, making Delhi the permanent capital of the Sultanate and securing recognition from Abbasid Caliph. Although Minhaj-e-Siraj continued writing during later rulers as well, he is mainly associated with the reign of the court of Sultan Iltutmish. So Miraj-e-Siraj continued writing during the later rulers as well, but mostly he is known for Iltutmish only. The other options are obviously incorrect. Qutbuddin Aibak founded the slave dynasty. Yasuddin Balban ruled in the 20th century, in the 13th century. He will come after Balban. After Balban will come Razia Sultan, and after Razia Sultan it will be Yasuddin Balban. And Alauddin Khilji belonged to the later Khalji dynasty. He will come after the end of Mamluk dynasty. Okay. So the correct answer is Minhaj-e-Siraj spent his time in the court of Sultan Iltutmish. Sultan Iltutmish. Iltutmish is also very, very important. Iltutmish is known for holding. So during the time of Iltutmish, Genghis Khan used to rule the Mongol Empire, and he had surrounded India. But it was because of the very good diplomatic ties, very good diplomatic relations, and understanding of Iltutmish. Genghis Khan did not invade India. Genghis Khan was chasing a Persian prince. His name is Jalaluddin, and Jalaluddin asked for Iltutmish to help him. But Iltutmish said, "Sorry, sir, the climate of my region will not suit you, so I can't help you." But the actual reason was he did not want to help him because if he would have helped him, Genghis Khan would have attacked India, Delhi, and he would have looted the whole country, and that would lead to a disaster. So that was the reason why he did not help Jalaluddin, and he had to find shelter somewhere else, and Genghis Khan did not invade India. Moving on. All India Muslim League was formed at Dhaka in 1906. All India Muslim League was formed at Dhaka in 1906 during the period of British rule in India. The organization was officially established on 30th December 1906 at a meeting of the prominent Muslim leaders held in Dhaka under the patronage of Nawab Salimullah Khan. The formation of the Muslim League took place at a time when political awareness among the Indian Muslim was increasing rapidly. Many Muslim leaders believed that Muslims required a separate political organization to protect their educational, political, and administrative interests under the British rule. They were concerned that representative political institution that representative political they were concerned that representative political institution and competitive politics might reduce Muslim influence because Muslims formed a minority in many parts of India. The background of the Muslim League was closely linked with the Aligarh movement, partition of Bengal in 1905, growth of modern political organization in India. The Aligarh movement, started by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, had already encouraged modern education and political awareness among Muslims. At the time, the partition of Bengal in 1905 created major political changes and increased communal politics consciousness. Important leaders associated with the formation of Muslim League included Aga Khan II, Mohsin ul Mulk, Nawab Salimullah Khan. Initially, the objectives of the Muslim League were to promote loyalty to the British government, to protect Muslim political rights, to secure adequate representation for Muslims in the government services and legislatures, to prevent hostility between Muslim and other communities. In the early years, the Muslim League did not demand partition of India. However, over time, organization became more politically assertive. Under the leadership of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the League gradually transformed into the main political organization demanding separate Muslim political identity and eventually the creation of of Pakistan. The Lahore Resolution of 1940 became a major turning point in this process. The formation of the Muslim League played a very important role in the later political history of British India because it significantly influenced the communal politics, constitutional negotiation, and eventually the partition of India in 1947. So this is Muslim League. So it was formed in Dhaka in 1906. Remember that. It is very very important date. Next, Chittaranjan Das was a political guru of which of the following personalities? So Chittaranjan Das is the political guru of Subhash Chandra Bose. Chittaranjan Das was the political guru and mentor of Subhash Chandra Bose. Chittaranjan Das, popularly known as Desh Bandhu, meaning friend of the nation, was one of the most prominent nationalist leaders of the early 20th century and played a major role in shaping the political career and ideology of Subhash Chandra Bose. C.R. Das was a famous lawyer, freedom fighter, and political career leader associated with the Indian National Congress. He gained national recognition for defending Aurobindo Ghosh during the Alipore bomb case. During the non-cooperation movement launched by Mahatma Gandhi, Chittaranjan Das emerged as one of the leading nationalist figure in Bengal. Subhash Chandra Bose deeply admired Chittaranjan Das and joined nationalist politics under his guidance after returning from England. Bose had qualified for the Indian Civil Service examination but resigned before joining British service because he wanted to dedicate himself to India's freedom struggle. Under the mentorship of C.R. Das, Bose entered active politics and quickly became involved in nationalist movements in Bengal. Chittaranjan Das recognized Bose's intelligence, discipline, and leadership qualities and provided him with both political direction and administrative experience. When C.R. Das became mayor of Calcutta, Subhash Chandra Bose was appointed as Chief Executive Officer of Calcutta Corporation. This position gave Bose valuable experience in administration, public organization, and political management. C.R. Das strongly influenced Bose's views regarding nationalism, self-rule, and political mobilization and anti-colonial rule. Das believed in achieving self-government while also participating strategically in legislative institutions, which later led to the formation of Swaraj Party in 1923, along with Motilal Nehru. The death of Chittaranjan Das in 1925 had a deep emotional and political impact of Subhash Chandra Bose. Bose later described him one of the greatest influences in his life and regarded him as his true political mentor. So, who has been regarded as a true political mentor of Subhash Chandra Bose by Subhash Chandra Bose? It is Chittaranjan Das. The other options are incorrect because Mahatma Gandhi was an independent national leader, Jawaharlal Nehru was influenced mainly by Motilal Nehru and Gandhi, and Bhagat Singh belonged to the revolutionary organization separate from political leadership circle of C.R. Das. Okay, Chittaranjan Das. So, Chittaranjan Das is a mentor of Subhash Chandra Bose. Remember that. Chittaranjan Das is a mentor of Subhash Chandra Bose. Next. Which one of the following pair dynasty ruled region is correctly matched? Shakas, Northwest and North India. Vakataka, Central and Western India. So the correct answer is both 1 and 2. Both statements regarding the Shakas and the Vakatakas are historically correct because both dynasties ruled the regions mentioned in the question. The Shaka dynasty, also known as the Indo-Scythians, were originally Central Asian tribes who entered the Indian subcontinent through the northwestern pass around the 2nd century BCE. They migrated from being displaced by other nomadic groups in Central Asia and gradually established political control over several regions of the northwestern and northern India. The Shakas first occupied areas around the present-day Afghanistan, Sindh and Punjab and later expanded into the western India. Different branches of the Shakas ruled various territories, but some of the most important branches were the western Kshatraps, which controlled regions such as Gujarat, Malwa, Kathiawar, and parts of Western India for several centuries. Because of their control over the northwestern and northern regions of the subcontinent, the statement that the Shakas ruled northwest and north India is considered correct. The Shakas played an important role in Indian history through trade, administration, coinage, and cultural interaction between Indian and Central Asia. One of their most important rulers was Rudradaman the first, who is known for the Junagadh inscription written in Delhi, written in Sanskrit. The second statement regarding the Vakataka dynasty is also correct. The Vaktak emerged in the Deccan region during the 3rd century CE and ruled extensively territories in the central and western India. Their kingdom mainly converted regions of the present-day Maharashtra, Vidarbha, Virar, and adjoining Central Indian areas. The Vaktakas were contemporaries of Gupta Empire and maintained close political and matrimonial relations with the Guptas. A notable example of the marriage alliance between the Gupta royal family and the Vaktakas through Prabhavati Gupta. The Vaktakas are historically important for patronage of art, religion, and architecture, especially the Ajanta caves. Development of the Ajanta caves, and became famous centers of Buddhist painting and sculptures. They both, both dynasty region parts mentioned in the question are correctly matched because Sakas ruled northwestern and northern India while the Vakatakas ruled central and western India. Central and western India. So both are actually correct. Both are correct. Moving on. Fa began his journey back from home from which of the following Indian state? Back home from which of the following Indian state? So he began his journey from Bengal. Fa also known as Fa began his journey back to China from Bengal after completing his travel across India during the early 5th century CE. Fa was a Chinese Buddhist monk who came to India mainly to study Buddhism, visit sacred Buddhist trees, and collect original Buddhist manuscript and texts. Fahian traveled to India during the reign of Chandragupta II of the Gupta Empire. His country is his journey is historically very important because his writings provide detailed information about Indian society, administration, religion, economy, and culture during the Gupta period, which is often described as the golden age of the ancient India. During his stay in India, Fahian visited many important Buddhist pilgrimage centers and cities, including Patliputra, Bodh Gaya, Sarnath, Kapilavastu, Kushinagar, and Mathura. These are the places which are being visited by Fahian. And he is coming to India when who's ruling India? A very, very powerful ruler is ruling in the north. His name is Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II. After Samudragupta, Chandragupta II is considered as the strongest ruler of the Gupta dynasty after Samudragupta. Fahian spent several years studying Buddhist tradition, monastic life, and religious practices. He is also carefully observed that social and political condition of India and noted that the Gupta administration was comparatively mild and prosperous. After completing travels, Fahian prepared to return to China through the sea route. He began his journey from Tamralipti, which was an important ancient port city in Bengal. Tamralipti functioned as a major maritime trade center connecting people with Southeast and China. From this port, Fahian sailed towards Sri Lanka and later continued his journey back to China. Fahian's travel account remained one of the most valuable historical source for understanding Gupta India, especially the condition of Buddhism trade, network, urban life, administration, and religious practices during the period. The other important options are incorrect because Fahian traveled through several regions of India. His return journey basically began from Tamralipti in Bengal. So his return journey actually began from Bengal in Tamralipti. In Tamralipti. And Fahian came to India to study the ancient Buddhist text from Nalanda University and take all these important texts and translate them back to his language. One of the reasons. Okay. He wanted to collect Buddhist manuscript and texts. Collection of Buddhist manuscript and text. And even after Fayan, Yun Sang will also come and Yun Sang will do the same thing. He will study in India for 5 6 years in the Nalanda University and then he's going to collect all the information about Buddhism. He's going to take it to China and he will spread Buddhism in China, Mahayana sect of Buddhism. Okay, moving on. Red Cliff Line separates India with which country? Pakistan. Red Cliff Line separates India and Pakistan. The Red Cliff Line is the boundary that separates India and Pakistan and was created during the partition of British India in 1947. This line was drawn by Carroll Redcliffe, a British lawyer appointed by the British government under the provision of the Mountbatten Plan, announced on 3rd January 1947. At the time of the partition, British India was divided into two independent dominions, India and Pakistan. To create the new boundary, the British government appointed Sir Cyril Radcliffe as the chairman of the Boundary Commission responsible for dividing the provinces of Punjab and Bengal. These provinces had mixed population of Hindu, Muslim and Sikhs, making the division extremely complicated. The Radcliffe Line was drawn mainly on the basis of religious population according to the 1941 census, administrative convenience, communication routes, railway lines, economic and strategic considerations. Punjab was divided into West Punjab for Pakistan, East Punjab for India, while Bengal was divided into West Punjab. Okay, this is the same line. The Radcliffe Award was officially announced on 17th August 1947, and after the Pakistan became independent on 14th 1947, 14th August 1947, and India became independent on 15th August 1947. The creation of Radcliffe Line led to one of the largest forced migration in the world history. Millions of Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs crossed the newly created border, resulting in massive communal violence, huge refugee crisis, and large-scale displacement, especially in the Punjab and Bengal. The line became the official international boundary between India and Pakistan after 1971. West East Pakistan became independent as Bangladesh. Parts of the Radcliffe Line also became boundary between the India and Pakistan. So this is Radcliffe Line created by Radcliffe, Cyril Radcliffe, and it was officialized on 17th August 1945 when the partition of the country happened. 17th August 1947 when the partition of country actually happened. Okay, so this is Radcliffe line. Moving on. Hope the following was the founder of Vishwa Bharati University. Vishwa Bharati University. Who founded it? Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was the founder of Vishwa Bharati University, which was established as Santiniketan in Bengal. The institution officially became a university in 1921 and emerged as one of the most important centers of education, culture, art, and international learning in modern India. Rabindranath Tagore was one of the greatest literary and intellectual figures of modern India. He was a poet, philosopher, novelist, musician, painter, educationist, and social thinker. In 1913, he became the first non European Nobel Peace Prize winner in literature for his famous work Gitanjali. Tagore strongly criticized the rigid and mechanical colonial education system introduced during the British rule. He believed that the education should develop creativity, independent thinking, cultural understanding, and harmony with nature rather than just memorization and exam oriented learning. With this vision, Tagore developed the educational institution at Santiniketan, where students could carry his natural environment, where students could study in a natural environment with freedom of thought, expression, and belief. The institution grew from the early school established by his father Devendranath Tagore and later evolved into Vishwa Bharati University. The name Vishwa Bharati means the union of the world with India. Tagore wanted the university to become a meeting place of the Eastern and the Western civilization, where students from different countries could exchange ideas, knowledge, art, literature, and philosophy. Education at Vishwabharati University emphasized literature, music, fine art, philosophy, reconstruction, cultural studies. Tagore believed that education should remain closely connected with human values, creativity, and social responsibility. Vishwabharati later became an internationally respected center of learning and attracted schools, artists, and intellectuals from India and abroad. The university also played an important role in promoting Indian art, Bengali culture, and cultural nationalism during the freedom movement. The the other options are incorrect because Madan Mohan Malviya founded the Banaras Hindu University. Lala Lajpat Rana Hardayal was associated with revolutionary nationalism and the Ghadar movement, and Swami Vivekanand founded the Ramakrishna Mission. So the only option that is correct is Rabindranath Tagore. So I'll see you in the next video. I'm not feeling a bit